It looks like after 15 years, we're finally going to get a sequel to Boondock Saints, which is an even longer time frame than it was between the first and second movie. And that's likely because the first movie didn't do too well at the box office when it first came out, but it did have a strong cult following. So because of that, they decided to make a second movie, and the second movie didn't do too well. Now, I love the first movie. Second one, I want to say I hate it, so I'm kind of maybe in the minority on that one. I didn't like it nearly as much as the first one. I thought it was okay, but it did kind of strike me as them just trying to do the same thing, but do it a little bit differently. And I don't know, it seemed a little forced, if that makes any sense. But this new one, I am excited to see what they're wanting to do with this, because the second movie did end on a cliffhanger because they were hoping that that would be successful and they can do another one, but obviously it didn't really do as well, so that's kind of been on the back burner for some time. Plus, I think a lot of this also has to do with the fact that Norman Reedus has been really busy with The Walking Dead and doing all that, but since that stuff is kind of winding down, then maybe he has some more free time to actually do another Boondock Saints movie. But let's dive into this article from Deadline that's kind of talking about what they actually plan on doing with this movie. The rebirth of the 1999 cult favorite film The Boondock Saints is upon us. Thunder Road, the producer behind the John Wick films, has stepped in and joined the rights holder Dragonfly Films. Now, just because the same production company that made the John Wick films is also making this one doesn't necessarily mean any of the creatives will be the same in this one. It's obviously kind of an attempt to get attention. It's like, oh, this is the same people who made John Wick. It's like, well, yes and no. It's the same people who financed the John Wick films are also financing this one, but if they do see a similarity or they do see a potential in having a future Boondock Saints movie, then okay, I guess there's something to be had with that, but it really doesn't mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. In the current configuration, Troy Duffy will step aside as director after creating and helming the original and the 2009 sequel, The Boondock Saints All Saints Day. And according to this article, his attachment will basically be he'll be writing a series of books based off of the characters, and they'll be using that as the basis for the next movie. That's not to say that he won't have any involvement with the actual production of the movie. Maybe they'll give him an executive producer credit, or maybe he will also continue on and be the screenwriter for the next movie as well. But right now, they're just kind of basically be using him as the writer for the story. And that kind of makes sense too, because this is a series that would be difficult to try to get it back off the ground, because yeah, the difference between the first and second movie was 10 years, and right now it's 15 years since the second movie, and this one, assuming it actually comes out this year, which it'll probably be a couple years out before we actually see this movie. So to try to get that one going again, they'll probably need a more seasoned director. And if you look at Troy Duffy's IMDb credits, it's pretty thin. I think it's basically just the Boondock Saints movies, and that's essentially it. And a lot of that also stems from the fact that there's a reputation around Troy Duffy and that he has a bit of an ego and he's really headstrong and difficult to work with. So that's another reason why he's been having trouble actually getting a sequel. And I think this is the best that we're going to get. So a different director and probably a different screenwriter for it, but still, I'm excited to see what they're actually going to be doing with this, because more importantly, they're bringing back Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flanery as their characters, because yeah, you kind of need to have them. And if you're not going to have those two actors in it, then you might as well just do a complete reboot. And this is a series that, no, we don't need to do a reboot of this series. We need to actually continue on with the story, or at least end the story, because of the way the second one ended. Now, I've pretty much just resigned myself to the fact that, like, I didn't expect this movie to be made kind of like the 2012 Dread movie. That's another movie that deserves a sequel that hasn't gotten one, but still, it is nice that they're trying to build this one back up again, because I am interested in what they're going to do with this. The only hangups I have, though, is this is a movie in the current political climate that I think could really be hijacked and messed up in an easy way. So I'm just hoping that they don't screw this one up and try to stay as faithful to the original story and the original characters as they can, because I don't want to have to just write this off in my head canon. I want to just watch a good movie and enjoy it. But if it's the same production company behind John Wick, then I don't know, maybe this can be good. But until we actually hear a little bit more about this, it's all just, this is what we got. We don't know what's going to happen with this, but I am interested. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Are you interested in seeing a third Boondock Saints movie, or you just want to know more about it before you actually make your decision? Because that's kind of where I'm at on this one. But if you didn't even like the other ones, then okay, I guess you're not interested in this one too. But if you did like the other ones, do you think that was good, or do you think this should have been something that was made years ago and it's probably just too late for this? Because I don't know, I'm kind of two minds on this whole movie, because I can see one way or the other. At one hand, I don't want to see another one, but on the other hand, I would like to see a continuation of this. But just let me know what you think about this. And if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And if you can, click that like button and share the video, because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.